Well, good morning. Good morning. My name is Jared. I host a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. This is Justice's Waiting Room. Every morning, 8 a.m. to 9:30, YouTube and TikTok, as long as they'll have us. Okay. Why's my screen so dark? Wish you could fix that. So I want to point out what James Islander, daily with the absolute bars, said, "Think of my body as a temple, or at least a relatively well managed Presbyterian youth center." Yeah, right. I woke up this morning and I got sent the same video by multiple people about student loans. So funny how I've been saying this whole time, hey, this regime's corrupt as fuck and they are deregulating banks. You need to get away from banks. You need to go to credit unions. You probably need to go take all your money and put it in a credit union, wait a few months, and then do it again. Split your money between your bank accounts. And you probably need 4 or 5 different accounts to hold all your monies. Okay, and that's before we, because it takes a lot less effort to open a new bank account than it does to like dig up a hole in your backyard to hide your money. Okay? So I watched the video. I didn't do research beyond that, so keep that in mind. But apparently, this regime wants to dig up student loans, even ones that have been forgiven and defaulted, and go right into your bank account and take it. And that goes right in line with what I've been saying, and that is, hey, this regime immediately targeted the FDIC. As soon as they got into power, they went right after the regulatory powers for creditors. Okay? And again, with an executive order slash presidential order, not a law or a bill. It's akin to a fucking memo, but we're stuck in the motherfucking upside down, so we don't really know what's left or right because they don't tell us. But my guess is, uh, you need to get your shit in a credit union quick, and you need to spread it out and put your money in savings accounts. That way, when they go into your checking, there's nothing in there, and they can't take nothing from nothing. Good to go. That's my thought. Is get your money out of the way, because if you leave it in a bank, this regime is broke. Look, people stop paying their federal taxes. We talked about months ago that this regime is due to collect $500 billion less this year. People are straight up not paying federal taxes right now. Okay? So if you think they're not hard for press for money, if you think money is not the problem, money is the problem for this regime. It doesn't have funding. It has wealthy people, but they've lost a lot of American dollars and they continue to lose a lot of American dollars. And these are just facts. You don't have to like them. Lots of people are losing money. It's not a happy time. Okay? But I want to make sure we go into this conversation knowing, like, yes, I saw the fucking student loan thing, and it just happens to line up with what I've been saying to do anyway, which was get your money out of the banks, put your money in credit unions, and then split it up amongst credit unions. Okay? It's a wild time to be alive. Hey, and just remember, in generations past, your parents fucking buried money in the backyard. So don't act like it's not true. I used to mow people's yards. My brother owned a landscaping company. Lunch pails, usually old lunch pails. Yep. Yep, either a kid hiding money from his parents or a parent hiding money from a parent. So yeah, credit unions are a good way to go. I have SoFi, and we try to keep all our money in the savings account because they're not connected. The checking and savings are not connected. Hmm. And then the goal is to move your money into a savings, into a credit union, and then keep moving it. So it's Wednesday. It's fucking hump day, baby. Middle of the week. I don't think anybody got to see it because we'd already started the show, but I burnt my fucking hand. So hey, let this be a reminder to you that no matter how it falls or how it lands, when you plop a burger in a pan, it's you gotta set down the side nearest you and you gotta let it fall away from you because when you don't do that, even if you're a motherfucking ninja, okay, even if you possess cat-like reflexes, okay, and even if you did it in fucking slow motion, I still had to throw my hand up to keep from getting hit in the face by a spit of grease. And I had to run and stick my hand under cold water and shit. And I got like 3 white spots on my hand. Like I burnt the shit out of myself. Kids. Okay. Pain is relative. Real talk. I can tell I'm fucked up. You know how I'm fucked up? It hurt real bad for about 1 second. And then the pain stopped. That's how you know your brain's fucked up. You should feel pain like longer than that. Now, shout out to my wife. I told her last night, I gave her a big hug and said I felt loved. My wife last night went and got stuff, helped me put it on my burns, helped me bandage me all up, right? So I could try to heal up. Obviously, I work on the phone with my hands, so it's kind of fucked to have burns on your hands. Yeah. So let's see. Angie said, wait, even loans were forgiven? Yeah, so about that. And again, remember, cruelty is the point. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. My bank that I have now, SoFi, the checking and savings are not connected. So, for example, if the money's not in there for my mortgage for the checking account, it won't just pull it out of savings. Hmm. And yes, we had the money in there. It just, for whatever reason. Um, but yeah, been saying to do that for a while. I don't. Again, I did not research this. I don't have a story for this. If we come across a link, here we go. But again, we'd kind of see the writing on the wall, so it can't say I didn't tell you, right? I did tell you. Get away from your banks. Banks are being deregulated. Go to credit unions. I'm with SoFi right now, which is like an online bank. Okay. I know absolutely none of you want to be my friend, and you're just using me. I'm just kidding. So I have absolutely no. You are not wondering what I'm doing with my free time. If you're in the if you're in the Discord, you know that I play video games. That's literally I do that every day. If I also work a day job. I just am in a random situation where my wife used to have Wednesday off, right? And my regular day off was Tuesday. So I was going to change my schedule to have Tuesday, Wednesday off, and then work 5 days, have Tuesday, Wednesday off. Just until football season. It's not that deep, right? But just to have 5 on, 2 off, which is like a semi normal schedule. Well, then my wife moved offices. She works for a hospital network in the OBGYN. Uh, and it went Monday through Friday. So there's no point at all in me having days off during the week. It doesn't help us be together because her days off are on the weekend. So going back to my regular schedule of Sunday off and Tuesday off, um, is where I'll be moving forward. But long story short, in order to go to the protests and make myself available, I had this weekend off. So I go to the protests on Saturday, and then who wants to work on fucking Easter Sunday? That's, for the record, why I didn't. Yeah, we've had a Discord this whole time, and multiple times I've put up a link to join our Discord the whole time. Uh-huh. We called it Justice's Waiting Room. Believe that. And then, so if you ever wonder what's going on, what does Jared do when he's not working, which means not in Discord? Well, actually, usually I'm sharing links to Discord. Okay. Oh, right. Um, one SM. So yeah, remember what we do here every morning when this show starts. Rather than me sitting behind a logo playing an opening song, I just get into it and start fucking talking. Okay? I don't know if that's a bug or a feature, but we'll figure it out. Okay? And so the way I've sort of moved is, instead of me sitting behind a logo talking and playing an opening song, I'm just going to put a link to Edwin Starr's War in the comment section. And hey, listen to that at some point today. What a great song. Okay? And we'll just call that the opening song of the show. I listen to that song almost every day because of the show and outside of the show. It's become like a part of me. Same thing with Eat the Rich by Aerosmith. If you've never hung around until the end of the show, you might not believe this, but your boy talks bell to bell. Yeah, no ads. I ain't reading no ads. I ain't getting you, trying to get you to pay me any money. Okay? We're just gonna sit here and talk for an hour and a half about what's going on in the world and how to navigate through this. Is that cool? Does that work for you? Is this what we've been doing this whole time? Okay? If you feel like you're being left out of part of the conversation here on TikTok and you're like, Jared, is there a higher place I can ascend? I do think, yeah, you could go to YouTube. I like the people that show up in the YouTube chat. I like those people a lot more. They're a lot more civil and normal. They don't make me scream. TikTok is triggering. So hey, as we've said, if you are not already on Reddit, this is where you go when Twitter dies. Okay? So hey, I get the feeling people are moseying over there. That place has been awful friendly to me. So I always feel good that, in my opinion, and I know you're like, that means so little, Jared. All these social media sites that I've been on my whole life, I always had a good time. Never did nothing stupid or wrong. Like MySpace, I was having a good time. I got into HTML coding when I was in high school because of MySpace. I'm getting a little teary eyed. MySpace was the shit. I was an ICQ kid. I was on AOL Instant Messenger. I played fucking Yahoo Euchre. That's where I got my card playing chops, is Yahoo Card Room. Okay, and that was all before iPhone. before Facebook, before Twitter, Obvi. Okay. But that's what I have a degree. That's what I have a degree in too. So my degree is in graphic design with a focus on social media and project management. Bubble 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 fan. So yeah, I have always had a nice time. I wouldn't say I was good at it. Okay, I didn't say I was good at social media. Mostly just a lurker. I don't know why I feel like telling my story today. Um, never, never really cared much for the discourse. I did, however, have a real problem with uh, Elon Musk when he took over Tesla and fucked up a car company. And if you go look back on at Likely Alien on Twitter, I'm not active on Twitter anymore because Elon Musk is a Nazi. Um, I was giving him hell for years. So I feel like I've been fighting that guy for like a decade now. And I had some things happen to me on Twitter that don't normally happen to people. For example, one day I went to log in after I found out I'd been shadow banned. I kept, even now I know that less people are seeing my shit. You think I care now? Oh my god, I was a lurker this whole time. The only person I ever beefed with on the internet was Elon, and he fucking took all my followers. That's right. That's right. When I had like think about this. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I was a Vox Media journalist for 6 seasons covering the Indianapolis Colts. They lost Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. It was a rough time, okay? And no one cared. And they shouldn't. I'm a nobody, okay? And I was happy with that. Okay. But then there was that Klan rally at the Madison Square Garden on October 21st, and that's how I ended up here with you. Um, Long story short, I could no longer sit idly by and not speak up and say they're not telling you the truth on the news. They're not telling you on the news how big these protests are, for example, and how important they are and how world moving and world changing they are. Okay? And that we're not just supported locally. Okay? I can't even see. It's my screen's so dark. Ooh. Okay. I don't know why that is this morning. That so bums me out. Okay. But it's time that you participate, that you learn the sort of the lingo. Okay. Step one is, we called it the great what do we call it, the digital rebellion, is that what we said it was? Tech rebellion, the great tech rebellion. Okay, step one, I don't use Facebook, Instagram, threads, Facebook, uh Messenger, WhatsApp, Twitter, Amazon. Delete those from your phone. I didn't say delete your account. And we're going to go over this again. So if you've heard this before, it's good to just get you are to receive and disperse, right? You're to take in this information and give it to other people. That's what I'm here to do. It's to learn live. We're learning some shit, okay? The first thing you have to do is change how you move. Once you realize you're in a war of attrition, your survival is paramount. You making it through this, paramount. How do you do that? Get 8 hours of sleep a night. Control what you can control. Get 8 hours of sleep a night. You might need to take a nap. Okay? You got to drink water. You got to eat right. You got to exercise. No questions asked. Okay? Then you got to stop using Facebook, Threads, IG Messenger, WhatsApp, Twitter, and Amazon. Get them off your phone. Straight up, get them off your phone. Okay? No, I'm not telling you to delete your account. That's worse. Okay? That's not the goal. See, those social media sites that I just named, they grow every day. So the number of users grows every day, and you deleting your account does not do anything. It's not actually moving the needle. Okay? Okay? Going back to being an inactive user. Okay? When you become an inactive user, that has an impact. That number should be increasing every day. As more and more people. Well, thanks, Zeke. I appreciate you. So, that's step one. That's the first thing that you should do. And why? And why? Do you want me to tell you why? In a war of attrition, information is everything, and I wanted you to stop using those websites so you would stop giving away your movement. So when I was on active duty in the Marine Corps Infantry during a time of war, we had to have classes on how to use social media when you're on active duty, okay? And what you can and can't do and don't want to do, okay? What we want to get away from is saying, I'm going to go to this protest next Saturday and putting it on social media. We want to get away from, today's the day of the protest. We want to get away from, here's me protesting live. We want to get away from this. Why? Anyone who is a detractor, a provocateur, a fucking opportunist, okay? They can just track you by your movement that you are posting on social media. Move in silence. Exactly. So it serves me, right? As in participating in this resistance, it serves me by telling you to delete the maps because all those billionaires that own them bought this election and they're going to fuck up our country, right? But also, it serves the mission. The mission is, this is a war of attrition. How do you minimize CAS and maximize your effectiveness? You fuck up their communication. You stop using the websites and stop putting information on websites that they can track. That they track. We plan and organize and coordinate and then we move and we do it all without fucking talking about it. Good to go? From the top to the bottom. I consider myself at the top. I'm not taking orders from anyone. I ain't on a phone with anyone telling me what to do. So I'm assuming I'm correct in my movement. The way I do it. What I do is I tell people, get rid of these applications off your fucking phone. Stop using them. I didn't say fucking delete your account. That's too much emotional baggage for too many people. Too many people are far too connected to their social media accounts to just fucking delete their accounts. That's too big of an ask, Jared. Oh, it's just because they're owned by billionaires that bought this government, and stopping using their sites and stopping traffic at their sites broke them. It cost them billions of dollars. So you could see that as I'm putting a hood on my face and hiding my identity, but I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm just not using those sites. I'm sorry that for some reason, you felt like caping for a billionaire in my comment section. Let me help you find the door. Blocked. Okay. Some random lady said, "Morning, my well-hung girthy king." I was like, "Is that my wife?" She doesn't normally say that shit in public. Okay. So yeah, interoperability. Yeah. I told my wife you got to be malleable with it. Okay. You got to be malleable with it. Okay. My advice again, like I said, anytime I recognize like, oh, I got like 65 people watching me, that's a lot. That is a lot. That's a big room of people. That's not even a classroom. That's like a double classroom. That's like when one teacher got stuck teaching two classrooms of people. Okay. Kimmy said I'm a Marine veteran's wife, by the way. We'll tell your husband I said semper motherfucking fi. Do or die. But yeah. So get the fuck off Facebook Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. Use Amazon as a search engine. Start to shop locally. You've got to grow a fucking garden. There's so many people that are obsessed with the pew pew part of this. And I'm just letting you know how far away we are from the pew pew part of this. We are at the part where you need a fucking plowshare and you need to grow a garden and you need to get a generator and you need a solar panel on your fucking roof so that when the power grid goes down, your fucking food in your house doesn't all rot. Okay? Because if you think that we're going to resist and they're not going to counterattack and take down things like power to control you and raise the cost of power. If you think that's not coming. At least I'm not out here trying to tell people to be violent and I'm telling them to organize and develop community and boycott, protest, and strike all non-violently. Yeah, we're at that part. We've been at that part. We've been doing that shit for months now. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't even remember how many I've been to now. Not judging, just wondering. Oh, we're at mass protest part. I woke up this morning and the first piece of news I saw was that this regime is bringing back forgiven student loans and defaulted student loans. So, so this regime is going to raise dead on your fucking forgiven student loans and defaulted student loans. And oh, by the way, they got rid of do you remember the student loan repayment system? I worked for Sallie Mae when I was in college. Like, I got fired, for the record. I got fired from Sallie Mae from walking someone down from saying they were going to unalive themselves. Okay. I'm not a doctor, she said. My little boss that did not have a college degree. Yeah, I can't. We're all kind of disabled. Right. Um, well, I mean, I'm a disabled veteran as well, right? So, uh, I don't know who that serves. Okay, I don't know who resurrecting people's student loans serves. I just know it doesn't serve us. Okay. I heard something about Venezuela filing a complaint with the ICC. Did you hear that? Yeah. I mean, when we get around to talk about the news today, I want to make sure we talk about the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Okay. He did not deport people. Okay. He did not deport people. He had people fucking kidnapped and trafficked them to El Salvador so that El Salvador could go to Venezuela and negotiate for the release of political prisoners using the people that Donald Trump had kidnapped and trafficked to El Salvador. Do you see how that might be a fucking international problem? Did I make it simple enough for you? The President of the United States using ICE, who, by the way, ICE is bankrolled by Palantir. Peter Thiel owns Palantir. It's lost a lot of money. Marjorie Taylor Greene's an investor. Uh-huh. Palantir is who is ICE, and Avelo Airlines, Avelo, that's who's actually flying people to El Salvador. Those overnight flights. Yeah, so we know who ICE is. ICE is not ICE. Okay? ICE is a you know what? ICE is like the IDF. Um, they're operating under very loose. You see MTG's town hall, yeah, where she had a veteran tased in her town hall for speaking out. So much for free speech, right? Here's a good way to tell you who you would never vote for ever again in your life. Okay, what is IDF? The Israeli Defense Force. That was a bad joke. D. I'm glad you caught that. Um, I said ICE is basically the IDF. Nobody laughed. One person said, "Wait, who? What's the IDF?" Probably a bad joke, but you know what, D? If the fucking shoe fits, if the shoe fits, I started to say sold people because we paid money to sell them, right? AI pack, yeah. So what is IDF? Israeli Defense Force. 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines, 2-2. We are in a bad joke. You goddamn right, D. That didn't do what I wanted it's gonna do. That didn't do what I wanted it to do. Yeah, but when we paid money to sell somebody, that's not a it's not a fucking thing. Okay? In my opinion, we need say sold people because we paid money to sell them. Yeah. We especially need more veterans. Good morning, Brad. We definitely need more veterans to stand up and say, you know, this is not how this country was to be run. Yeah, a lot of lawsuits coming. Yeah, the ICC takes a while to gather resources. You got to understand, you got like multiple countries involved. You got to make sure their sponsors aren't going to like attack your courts, because you got to realize the ICC settles stuff in courts. You know, one of the things that I think people often get confused is they think that the ICC is like the Wild Wild West of the international criminal justice system, where they just go around and just put people down, and that's not the way it works. Say that lawsuit thing one more time and remember the president can't be sued. You're calm. What? I said the SS are brown shirts. Yeah. I want this on a t-shirt. I mean, you see people in the comments that are the exact kind of people that would call ice on you on TikTok. It's disturbing. The people that they're right there. Yeah, it's not everybody. I mean, there's 100 people in here. Good morning, everyone. Hey, I know you're going through a lot, and I'm not even gonna ask. Okay? Control what you can control. Get 8 hours of sleep a night, and you probably need to take a nap. Gotta drink water. Gotta eat right. Gotta exercise. Okay? Control what you can control. One foot in front of the other, one day at a time. Rachel Maddow covering the second Mardiv, Ed. Yes. Yes, it does. I found it. I went to the local. I went to the not the PX, it was like the exchange, and it's actually not even the exchange anymore, it's something else. I went into the exchange, they had a little gift shop. The guy in there is like an old Air Force veteran. And I saw this hat, this second Mardiv hat among their hats, and I was like, I'm buying me a fucking second Mardiv hat. It's actually pretty cool. Actually pretty cool. I like it a lot. That's why I wear it. I wear it because I like it. It's like dope as fuck. Mmm. Is it now? You understand I was stationed at Camp Lejeune where 2nd Mardiv is headquartered, right? It's like people come in your comments and they let's try to bullshit you. Like it's like their gig. Morning, Kelly. Second division was disbanded. Anyway, enough about me. And there's a reason I've said father served in the 22nd Marines, 2nd Mardiv. Yeah, 2nd Mardiv's headquartered Camp Lejeune. It's where I was stationed in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines Weapons Company. What did you do in the Marines? I was in 0351. So I was an infantryman. Specifically, I was an assaultman within the infantry. I love saying that too. I was an assaultman in the infantry, which is demolition and rockets. Mm-hmm. Gunpowder didn't quite do it for me. So everything, by the way. So most Marines are gonna train grenade M9, M4. That's most Marines. They may have gone to a different system. Okay, but that's like a 0311, right? Now, every now and then they'll throw a grenade launcher on an M-rated weapon. Every now and then, um, they'll stick a machine gunner in your fire team, and you'll get like a 240 Golf or whatever in your fire team, right? But on the whole, most 0311s is just M4 rifle, M9 pistol, and a grenade. Okay, that's a O311. Now keep this in mind. O311s can do everything. They're literally John Wick. That's what a O311 is. They fist fight, they fucking pistol shoot, they rifle shoot, they do all of it. Okay? But anytime you need a hole in something, you calling on someone like me, a 51, which, and you got to think historically, because again, they got rid of my MOS. We were carrying too much shit, bro. We're gonna blow us all up. But my kit had a satchel charge in it, and that's in the backpack in the back, and that's like C4 firing wire det cord, right? So that's like part of your what's on your person. Okay. Then pistol M4. I don't think I was being given grenades. I think it's because I have C4 in a backpack, right? Like I don't think you get both. But I also had to carry a shoulder mounted assault weapon, which is, long story short, I don't think that I've ever even seen that in a video game. It's too good. But it's like I think are they 9 to 11 inches and they have specialty rounds that are longer? It's been a long fucking time. But the small was like a little guy. You could just carry it. He was made of fiberglass, didn't weigh anything, and you could really take some shit down with a small. And because I was in weapons company, we were in a Humvee. So because we were mounted, we were in a vehicle. I, as a 51, had a Javelin, which I didn't actually have in my truck. It was in another truck because you couldn't fit all the stuff in my truck. And then the truck I drove had a tow gunner with a tow missile. Okay. And I was the driver. I went through a workup. I went on a deployment. I just didn't go to Iraq or Afghanistan. You don't get to choose your deployments. I was aboard the USS Bataan as part of the 26 MEU. And my favorite story about this is that when I first got to 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines, they were on their 5th straight deployment to Iraq. Most of the guys that I served with had been on like 2, 3, 4 deployments in their time in service, which is a fuckload. That's a ton. So they were super pissed, by the way, when they got selected for the 26 MEU. And for the record, they got selected for the 26 MEU because they earned a presidential unit citation. And again, you know how you know I'm not lying about my time in service? I'm not talking about me. That's how you know I'm like one of the good ones. I'm nobody. I was just there. I watched these guys get combat action ribbons and purple hearts and fucking promoted, and the unit get awarded a presidential unit citation. Kay Heron said, could you talk about SecDef? Yeah, 22nd was disbanded. Thank you. Could you talk about SecDef? Yeah, it's really disappointing that no veteran has looked at this situation and said, we've got to stop that dude from drinking. Drinking is his problem. If we can get Pete Hegseth sober, he would still be worthless, but at least he'd be sober. And nobody's done that yet. So understand, guy is not a good person, and also is not sober very often. He's like an out of control bad guy. I don't really know what else to say. He can be sober and out of a job. Abso-fucking-lutely. But did you see his ass on Fox News yesterday? I was like, that is the fucking SecDef? What are we doing? Why do we confirm that? Have you like seen this person talk? That guy's in charge of the whole military? Ugh. Gabby said, just saw a press release that NATO's Mark Rutte is visiting Visiting DC tomorrow and Friday, supposedly to meet with Hegseth and Rubio. That's fucking hilarious. He's a vet bro to a T. Blue Falcon. Yes! Yes! His kids are fucking mortified by him. Oh my god, would you not be totally pissed? If you were like a 14, 15, I don't know how old his kids are, I didn't look. But like, if you're like cognizant, you're like, oh my god, my dad's fucking terrible. Like, you're just a terrible person. Yeah. And a buddy fucker at that. Yeah. Oh, and I also want to say this. I encountered very little buddy fuckery in the actual Marine Corps infantry, but I encountered buddy fuckery when it was like Motor T or some other non, like, if you're gonna have a problem, it's not with your own people. Like, it, it was when um I went to demolition school with the engineers, right? They had a really hard time with the grunts because we're fucking dirty. We're dirty and we fucking stink and we sweat and we had a fucking PT this morning and then had to be here and shit. So fucking engineers hated us because they were like, y'all are not proper. And it's like, no, no, I'm a nasty ass fucking Marine. Believe that shit. You know what sucked? What sucked was they never once considered, should he do that? They were just like, put it on the schedule. Let's see if he can do it. And so your boy, because I was a big dude, you got to remember I'm a big man, would go through PT in the morning with everybody else, oorah, all that shit. And then they'd cut us loose, and I'd get pulled to the side. Mlat, you got to go to the pool. The fuck? I got to go swim now? Oh, you motherfuckers. It's like they were either trying to build you up or break you, find out which happens first. So I would just go to the pool. And then I'd come back and they'd be like, Malat, you got to go run this training over here in this building and you got to set it all up. You're the only, you got to take a team of people. You got 5 minutes and you're just like, and you got to set up and teach everybody how to use multiple weapon systems because not everybody is cross trained. And I'm like, how the fuck do y'all go to Iraq like 3 times and 8 people in this unit know how to use a 240 Golf and know how to clean field strip one or like take one apart, right? So we had the whole weapons company teaching everybody how to use everything. And your boys going around like, okay, it's like Legos. Awesome. How long did it take to learn? And the worst part about it was some of the most like hot to trot Marines. And yes, there are shit hot Marines. You might not believe this, but not everybody is shit hot. Okay, but there were like shit hot Marines that had already done all the MCIs, so they already knew how to do all that, and they just never got an opportunity to do it. So nobody could ever say you knew how to do that because they never actually had the time to do that. They were too busy doing all that other shit, like their job, right? Fuck being cross trained. So I always thought this was funny. Okay. Guys will go fight in a war, a literal war, and they don't have time to cross train. And every job I've ever had, they're like trying to cross train you in the first 5 minutes. I'm talking about on outside of the military. Like every job I've ever had, they're like, "Oh, you're reasonably competent at this. We need to cross train you on this." 5 minutes into that, and you're like, "Wait a minute, I have no repetitions. You have no concept that I'm actually good at this or not." Right? Where the Marine Corps literally lets you go fight in a fucking war like 3 times before they'll ever have like some new guy, this person, and they'd be like, "He's a smart idiot. He's going to teach you all how to use multiple weapon systems. And he's also a Lance Corporal and junior to all of you." Largely, what happened was your boy got made fun of a lot and elbowed out of the way, while the shit hot Marines that already like knew all this stuff because they did their MCIs taught the whole shit. This was before cell phones. All because they were like, Malat, you could do this your way off a fucking PowerPoint. It's going to take 3 hours. or we could do it our way, and it's done in a half an hour, and we're racing to figure out who can take apart and put together these things faster. Oh, okay. You just do it your way. What the fuck are we talking about, right? So the Marines taught each other how to take apart weapon systems so they could learn from each other. It was fucking rad, right? And again, people have the wrong fucking picture of the Marine Corps. People think like it's all fucking abuse. It's abusive, but it's not all fucking abuse. You know what I'm saying? It's toxic as fuck, but it's not all toxic as fuck. Savvy? Just like anything else in life, there's a lot of hurry up and wait. A lot of hurry up and wait. That was one thing that drove us fucking crazy. Is we'd hurry, get to where we were supposed to be, and then wait. Well, we talked about, Dina, the airlines that's doing the flights. Avelo Airlines. Avelo. Yeah, so Eric Prince, our favorite Nepo baby. Now, as far as upcoming protests, hey, tomorrow are the Canadian Solidarity protests. So, hey, that's my friend. Tomorrow are Canadian Solidarity protests. These are 50501 protests. Okay? Obviously, Donald Trump has a hard on for Canada. It's kind of awkward. Okay? So, awkwardly, this protest is on a Thursday. Your state capitals, you can go to 5050.1 is the website. Okay? Burp. Okay? And also I posted a calendar in the comments. Okay? So you can actually go to Reddit, see this calendar, know there's a protest tomorrow, okay? And then hey, a week from today. Okay? What do you know about the Socialist Party USA? As far as I know, it died in 1970. I'm the founder of the American Socialist Party, or ASP, and we are just getting going. We're moving pretty slow. This regime seems to want to squash any uprising, so very slow moving. But yeah, we don't have a socialist party in the United States. Yeah, the problem is that we failed to properly explain what socialism is for too long for a socialist party to have enough steam to exist right now in a two-party system in the United States. We failed to explain what it is. So what I've made it my mission to do is I'm not running for politics. This isn't me propping me up. Good to go. Most of the time when people do things, they're doing it because they're doing it for themselves. Okay? I'm actually not. You know, what do they say about men who plant trees knowing they'll never sit in their shade? Right? That's what I'm doing by founding the American Socialist Party and saying, hey, unions are wildly important. You know how I know they're important? Union membership has declined for decades in a row. Who would want to see union membership declining decades in a row? I'll tell you. Billionaires and all the owners of these big companies. Okay? And I decided, because people will ask, what flavor of socialist are you? I decided to see, is there such thing as a pro-union socialist? And you know what I found out? In some of the most politically, advanced societies, literally a third of the elected officials are members of the syndicalist socialist party. Okay? It's not called that, but all syndicalism is the rise of unions. Okay? So think about what unions do. Unions' job is to get the worker better pay and benefits and protect them, right? One of the great things right now that unions are showing is their voice. The heads of unions calling for the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Hey, that's more than the president's done or the vice president's done. Okay? All good, Albie. Good to see you. Okay? And just to make sure that everyone knows, what is socialism? What is a socialism, Jared? If you ask someone what socialism is and they don't lead on this, they are wrong, per Webster's dictionary. Okay? The dictionary says socialism is any egalitarian. And before I move on, I'm going to explain egalitarian because people don't understand what that is. And once they realize that in the very definition of socialism, the second fucking word is a word I don't know, they just stop paying attention because they didn't know what that word meant. Egalitarian, to make it into a modern word, is just pro equality. That's probably a better way to say egalitarian, pro equality. So now you know, because I told you, socialism is any pro equality movement, okay? Any pro equality movement, whether it's political or economic or social policy. Okay, so understand when we talk about socialism and the definition of socialism per Webster's, which your boy photographic memory, I'm literally looking at it. For some reason, there's too much yellow on this page for me, by the way. But I just wanted to point this out. Socialism is any pro equality movement, whether it is a social policy or a political policy or an economic policy. Any pro equality movement. Okay? As long as it has ties to things like social ownership of business, also known as public ownership of business. Research tells us egalitarians tend to come from highly diverse populations. And I just happen to be a Purdue alum. And Purdue University is the second most diverse college campus in the United States outside of Rutgers. So that makes sense. And I also live in Indianapolis, Indiana. Uh-huh. Which is, again, is a diverse city, right? So socialism is any egalitarian movement, whether it's a social policy, a political policy, or an economic policy. And you know, money makes everything move. So a lot of people are dumb and they say, Jared, how could you participate in capitalism and also dislike it? And I would just like to tell you to go fuck yourself. Okay. Um, as far as economics, the social economic theory suggests that things like interest, rent, and taxes are derivative of your labor and therefore ought to be fought to be removed. And I think that's a pretty good little nudge from the universe to say, hey, Jared, this socialist, one of your forefathers, said, hey, interest, rent, and taxes are derivative of your labor and ought to be removed. I'm for that. I want to see, if not the elimination of rent, I want to see rent control. Is that so bad? I want you to pay less in rent, and I don't want your rent to go up. If not the elimination of it. I want to eliminate high interest debt. Do you know who that directly affects the most? Are you ready for this? You're not going to believe this. Me! I work in helping people eliminate their high interest debt, and I want to see it all fail. Why? Because there's far too many people that will just give up and declare a bankruptcy rather than fight through it, knowing that they could suffer for a couple years and come out on top. That's what credit cards do to you. That's what high interest debt does to you. And I know you're sitting here thinking like there's no way we can make that happen. There are only 600 seats of government in the United States. There's not even that many people. There's got to be 600 of the best of us. That's nothing. It will take us no time to find the candidates. It take us more time to find people to support these candidates. And obviously teaching them, do you work outside of India? Yeah, I work nationwide. Yeah. So I help people. People come to me crying. People come to me every day and say, Jared, I am either I've just started to no longer be current on my payments, or I can only pay minimum payments and I'm almost maxed out on my debt and I don't know what to do. I've never had anybody come to me knowing what they're doing, for the record. They do not know what to do. They're financially fucking illiterate. Okay? And there's a reason I got this job in this industry is because I am financially literate. Okay? At 41 years old, I have one credit card. Do you see how financial literacy works? I'm a homeowner. I paid $1,700 down for my house. Do you want to talk about financial literacy? Right? I want people in better spots than I am. I don't look at my neighbor and I say, I'm not going to clip the limbs on my tree that shade his garden. I'm not that kind of guy. I just go cut them limbs, let that sun hit that garden, help that man's flowers grow. Right? So keep that in mind. I don't want to see he's going to step down, Dina. He's got to step down. He's got to avoid consequences, understanding that's their MO. That's the entire right's MO. Step down before there are consequences. So don't act like Pete Hegseth's just going to keep drunkenly doing dumb shit, although he apparently did. For the record, he apparently did. Yeah. But I work in an environment where I have all the solutions available to me financially. So if you need a bankruptcy, I can send you to debt helpers. They'll find you a bankruptcy attorney. That's not a problem. If you need a consolidation loan and you fucking qualify for one, fuck yeah, you can have a consolidation loan too. Most of the people, 99% of the people I talk to though, are going to enroll in debt resolution. All debt resolution does is allows us to renegotiate with your creditors so that we could stop the interest and just pay like mostly principal back, and get the balances to zero so you can move on with your life. Yeah, most people 2 to 3 years in the program and they're completely out of debt. Yeah, yeah. Just send me a PM. It's not hard. Send me a PM. I'll give you my number. I'll tell you when I work. I work noon to 9 every day except Tuesday and Sunday. But understand that outside of this person whose mother needs help, okay, I want to see the elimination of interest and tax. And I want our taxes to not go towards all these um, contracts. Mostly money going to billionaires in the form of tax cuts, right? Not actually funding programs that the least of us rely on. And I hate to say the least of us, but those who need help. And it feels awfully un-American. I want to make sure I get this out because I don't know that I've said that out loud. It feels awfully un-American to leave veterans and our elders and the poor and the disabled. It feels un-American leaving those people out in the cold. That doesn't feel like what we do here. I just want to keep making sure I say it and say it every day on my show. This is a nation of immigrants. This is a country that was built by immigrants. And there are people that are in denial about that think that America is white. And I just want to point out, if you're white, you're an immigrant, the family member of an immigrant, and you ain't indigenous to this land either. And those same kinds of people tend to also be anti-immigration. And I just wanted to make sure that you saw a white cis male say it. There can be no illegal immigrant on stolen land. Okay? And I'm also a homeowner, right? So I can see how there are people like that doesn't serve you because you're a homeowner, right? Well, technically, I don't ever own the land. That's one of the crazy things about being a homeowner is that you still have to pay property taxes based on its valuation. And so while you in your brain, you think like, I know I'll never own it. Yep, I've settled with that. But my out of pocket costs for home ownership's going to go way fucking down. Okay? Because keep this in mind, my original mortgage, $820. My mortgage now, $1,633. So that my mortgage is doubled. That's because of the value of my home. hmm And taxes and insurance and shit. Because that was our goal. My wife said we can afford what we're paying, and I was like, we know how that's not how that works. Okay, refinance. No, nope. How did I get my live access removed? What did I say? What did I say? Who did I bully? Yo, that was wild. Yo, what was I saying? I don't think I said it. I said anything that you'd really ban me for. Huh. That was tough. We were having a good show. I thought I was doing really good. I didn't feel like I did. I mean, it's what I mean. This is life. It's just kind of funny. Like I'm so glad that I didn't decide to be a content creator with the idea of having my entire existence, all my money on TikTok. Oh, no. Oh, you can pay me. Mm-mm. 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 But yeah, yep. Try to tell people I want you to have better circumstances than I do. Isn't that crazy to say it out loud? Like motherfuckers can't even say it out loud. I want you to do better than me. I'm doing really good. I want you to do better than me. I want more for you. You don't understand what I'm saying? Do you know? Think about this. Think about this. This is the way I think about my life. I've narrowly escaped sameness. Narrowly escaped it. Think about this. I'm in college. I'm hot shit at Purdue 20 fucking years ago in flight and aviation technology. Being a fucking air traffic controller like my daddy was my backup plan. I was in the fucking flight program. I was going to be an astronaut. The first opportunity I get to sit down with a fucking astronaut, he tells me, don't waste your life. There's nothing out there. The human body has limits. Now, this is 20 fucking years ago, right? Was he wrong? No. Can you imagine put it in all that work to become an astronaut, and not only is there nothing out there, but we really can't even really explore space like we want. And mostly it has to do with the way they feel about space. Where if they're not getting money out of it, it's not worthy. And remember, we used to have like a sense of exploration, right? We used to just boot people out like this in other countries. Well, I mean, think about it. They've got to keep you. They've got to keep you. 423 is gender. It said sexual violence. But it's just wild. What did I say that's even like on that level? You know what I mean? But know we weren't doing anything wrong, right? And that we'll get unbanned. It just takes a minute. So yeah, I want people to have it better than I do. You know, I don't want to hear. I heard someone the other day, okay, bought a 2,400 square foot home, which is what I have. 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, single floor home, 2 car garage. That's what I have on a 3/4 acre lot. That's what I have. We're like the same house. Okay. My original mortgage was for $174,000. I paid $1,700 down. I have like 2.5, 3.5% interest. Like I got very lucky. And I talked to someone yesterday, bought the same house by square footage, and it wasn't even that much more expensive. So location's not even that relevant. I'm not giving away that much information anyway. Okay. But I talked to someone who paid $40,000 down, which is more than the 10% down or whatever. And their mortgage payment's 35.66 on like 7.5% interest or some shit. Think about that. Think about what I just said. I talked to someone who bought the same fucking house I got, had to put 40,000 down. Their payments double what mine is. Their interest is triple what mine is. You think I want that for them? I don't want that. I want to see the elimination of that. I want that specifically gone. That's you can't survive that way. It's not sustainable. Okay? Gender-based violence. Hmm. Back to the news. Remember, I'm recommending everybody hit up this subreddit. See all the news you've been missing because it's been suppressed. Because we know that's happening. I mean, look what we just went through. What we were doing on our Learn Live podcast. It's hard out here not being a capitalist, right? Yeah, let me reduce your debt. You know what I mean? And think about it. The only time I was really talking about another person was when I said, I'm not, other than this situation where this woman said, I need help with my mom. My mom needs help. Will you help her? And I was like, girl, just hit me up. I'll help. You know what I mean? That was the only time I actually like even referenced a female there, because what we were talking about other shit. We weren't talking about people. We were talking about how my like in the frame I was um banned in, like the window that they banned me, we were talking about finances. Yeah, they got rid of Patel quietly. We got to understand those are people that did not pass FBI level background checks and weren't privy to information. And then think about what I said, Cece. On February 21st, I posted a video saying how concerning it is that Kash Patel is using FBI agents as personal security, and my account got fucking silenced for about 30 days. Next thing you know, Kash Patel is quietly getting removed from all these places. For the record, that he had 2 jobs, and they took one of them away and gave it to the army guy, and that now guy has 2 jobs. Just throwing that out there. So I keep going back into TikTok like they're gonna do something in a timely fashion. This is taking longer than any of the other. I don't think it makes sense. So, and it's not like they tell you. April 3rd, 2025. Hmm. Anyway, welcome to the Zeke. Saw that. Wait, hold on. Zeke, I saw that her brother made a TikTok saying they have the wrong person. There are other people with the same name. What? Well, they think about the things that I'm saying. I'm cognizant that the things that I'm saying might not happen in my lifetime, and I talked about like the men who plant trees knowing you'll never sit under the shade they provide. That's how I feel about the establishment of the American Socialist Party, my show, my daily show where we talk about the news and politics. And I'm actually a real person, and I'm not a person that doesn't have problems, right? I'm just like anyone else. I'm fucking dangerous. Why? Why am I so dangerous, you may ask? Because I'm not asking for money. So I'm not a capitalist here, driven. He must be in this for the long haul, right? He must be getting something out of this. No. What I put into this is, hey, I show up every fucking day on time and I'm topical. We're talking about what's actually going on in the fucking world, right? This is a unique time, and a unique time calls for unique fucking solutions. Awfully disappointing. Awfully disappointing there, TikTok. It'd be different if I felt like I did something wrong, but it's just sad. But this has been TikTok since the election. Remember the little blip? This is what it's been like since. I mean, we've had trouble the whole time, but I'll take ownership of that and say I was fucked up, right? I was coming in hot. I can admit when I'm wrong and shit. Today is not one of those times, you know? And it's not like we were having particularly dangerous talk, right? But I do see myself as fucking dangerous. Absolutely. Fortunately for me, I'm anti-violence, right? I don't want you to do anything but protest, boycott, and strike. Download the Five Calls app. Call your state representatives and email them and fucking post on social media about them. Hold them accountable. Yeah, so I expect that there's not a good reason to ban us. So just pay attention to the YouTube chat. Okay. Here's Vance says U.S. Will walk away unless Ukraine and Russia make agreements. God, we had so much hope. In 2024, births were up by 1%. Look at this shit. The FDA. By the way, my Discord got infiltrated and I picked them out while we were sitting here. Right, let Russia take occupied areas, right? I don't want them to do that. I want them to withdraw. Somebody who created an account today. So, unless somebody comes to me and was like that was me, we were infiltrated. Yeah. And remember, there's a reason for all that. It's all about the cruelty of it all. So remember, as they're forcing parents to choose between being able to afford to feed their kids and having to sacrifice other things in order to feed their kids, that's one of the biggest signs that someone is in over their head is when they're financing their groceries. That's a fucking no no. When you're putting your groceries on your credit card and your credit card debt's piling up, it's time. It's time to get out of the situation you're in. You're far too gone. That's the point at which capitalism has reached violence. Um, and keep in mind, there's people out there that totally think like people deserve that. Hmm. That people deserve to suffer. And that's just not my. That's one of the things that I've had to come to terms with. Is there are people out here that are okay as long as it's someone else suffering. And I'm not that way. Not that way at all. I don't believe that you were destined to be poor. I don't believe that you were destined to be forever in financial ruin, right? There's a reason that I go to work every day and I'm excited to be there, right? Well, that's a lot of what I feel like is involved in this regime. I have a public detractor, right? I have someone here in Indianapolis that is making content about me. Good, say my name, just like Britney Spears, right? So, but cruelty is the name of the game. Cruelty is the plan, as it were. So if you ever wonder, yeah, yeah, and look at Elon Musk. Did you see this video of Elon Musk where he's saying like the left is being fed propaganda and they're believing and the rich are believing it and they're uh, divesting from my companies. He is so brainwashed and so narcissistic that he can't take accountability for what he did. For the record, he did that shit. He is the reason that he's lost money, that nobody wants to do business with him. Yeah, he said people have to suffer. Why not him? That's what I think. Why not him? And he has, for the record, burp, excuse me. He has suffered quite a bit. He has lost quite a bit of money and everything that he has of importance. Like all the relationships with women that he could ever have in his life, like his wife, his children, they want nothing to do with him. That little kid that he's using as a bullet sponge, or I'm sorry, a meat shield, will never fucking forgive him. One day they'll know. It wasn't my dad took me everywhere he went, right? It was my dad was a tyrant and literally felt like his life was in danger and he used me as a meat shield as a child. So that when he went out into public, he didn't feel like he was going to get arrested or shot up because he had his son with him. And who do you think his son is going to be just like? Have you not already heard that little shit speak? Do you not feel like it's the second coming? Okay. Yeah, if you thought round 1 is bad, wait until little Elon Musk. Okay? Wait till little Elon with updated programming. Okay? Hell yeah. Karma's coming for Elon Musk. Yes, she is. Mm-hmm. And Karma and I are friends. Mm-hmm. Yes, she will. She will equalize. I hope it costs them everything. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go play Last Epoch. For those of you that wondered, I'm playing a new ARPG. Think Diablo is an ARPG, third person omniscient, where your person's little and the world's big, right? Instead of your person's big and then the world's little, right? So you got big old world, little guy. Okay. Like the old Warcraft games, the old Diablo games. Yeah, karma's my best friend. Gabby, I've said this for a long time. I don't have very many like friends and I don't talk really to my family, but Karma and I we've gotten very close. I sleep like a fucking baby. I feel no weight on my shoulders. I do not constantly have to sit around and consider the weight of my decisions. I don't have to think about who I voted for and who did that hurt, right? Because that's not how I voted. I did not vote trying to hurt people. And there's a lot of people in this country that got their fucking way and it don't taste good. They got what they wanted. They got all this pain and suffering, and the problem is it's too close to them. But Karma and I, we see the sunrise and the sunset the same way. And they just move about their day. They don't have anything for me. Because I'm doing the right thing. I think that I'm doing what I was supposed to do, is sit in front of people and say, I get it, it's a dark time, but look at what is actually happening. Here's what is actually happening. Knowing that we've all seen and heard far too much. We need a place, like we said, to center themselves. And just say, here are the major news stories of the day from reputable news sources and what's going on. Now go about your day. You got shit to do. Okay? So have a good rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.